the Edina Bakatue 2025 Festival is crazy, bro. It's crazy. This is what is happening right over here. And I'm just having fun, enjoying myself right here. See? Hello guys, what's up and welcome to the Voices GH channel. Today we are here to review the popular Edina Bakatue Festival, which is celebrated by the Elmina people at Asa. The Edina Bakatue Festival ended about a week ago. It was a 1 week long program, and I'm here to review just 2 days of it, which is the Grand Deba and the Regatta, because those were the main events. As I said, those 2 days were the main events, and we are here to review them so that the organizers and probably the traditional council can see their shortcomings and do a better festival next time. I mean, next year coming, or next time, for next year, they should try and see this video and do a better organization next time. So I'll try and keep this video very short. See, I'm gonna hit the points, and I'll be hitting the points one, and I will not go deeper into the points like that. So you over there have to decode whatever I'm trying to say, so that this video can be kept very short and not too lengthy. I'm going to start with the Grand Deba. Now, the Grand Deba, in Sambia or some things that happened at the Grand Deba, I would say they were not the fault of the organizers itself, because some of the guest chiefs, chiefs now were invited on, the chiefs that were invited from different traditional councils, they came very late, and sometimes they disrupted the whole program. So when an event is ongoing or when a performance is ongoing, the performance has to be paused so that the chief can pass through, and there will be now after the chief knowledge display, and they were Nana Wabe and all that, and which was that was somehow disrupting the program. But I won't blame it on the organizers though, because these chiefs came from different traditional areas and they came from far, and you can't blame the organizers for this. So that one, I won't blame them. Now I'm on the Grand Deba. Before I go to the Regatta, the Regatta is the main one that I have concerns over. But this one is just the Grand Deba. This is one of the major concerns with the late arrival of the guest chiefs, and also there were no ushers at Asa. There were no ushers at the Grand Deba to direct anything. Even if there is a tent that has been designated for media for this, different what's now. Now, after our media person, never corner any pokona na kokode. Hey, are they them things also for media? So you guys have to get up for us to sit, which was somehow awkward and uncomfortable sometimes. We're gonna be mommy paying parts and I wanna elutu. And also I did to mommy pay, and there were no people who were there to coordinate anything or tag nibia accredited tag now. Then okay, then you have the right to sit here, but there was nothing like that. I think this is one of the things that the organizers needs to consider in their next planning 2026 coming. So now let's go to the main event. The Grand Deba was there. So those were the two things that I actually had problems over. Now let's go to the main event. The main event, which is the Regatta. That is what I call the main event, because that was where most of the actions happened. Now the Regatta, the first one and the first point I'm going to hit on was security. With the Regatta, it was like, even though there were the immigration, fire service, what not, who were designated there to make sure that everything is well coordinated, it was like there were no security at all. Obia Sora, Bibi open Obijina, and all that. And it was not something that was very pleasant at all, because looking at the whole situation now, maybe you know that an event to be big, an event bigger is the media. How many media houses are carrying this event, how it is trending and all that. That makes an event on and offer investment, because if the event is having more eyeballs, that is how more sponsors will get themselves into the event. Now it seems like woja bibiagum woja obiagum obiasora bibi open obejina, and we the media people, we couldn't even have a designated place to stand. Everything obia bibi ejina no obia so obejina obi no actually phone, and we were holding cameras and stuff, trying to Adum TV no nadinya, they were giving live feed, and people with their phones and all that disrupting all this live feed, and And the security people, the security people who were to make sure that things were well coordinated, no, they were also holding their phones and taking footages. Like, bro. So there were nothing like security, there were nothing like coordination or something. Now that was my part on the arrangement of where people need to stand and all that. Can you imagine that the designated area where the chiefs were to sit no, na nkɔfo tentena hɔ before a chiefs number one, people were actually sitting at where the chiefs were designated to sit. So the MC had to make an announcement in the microphone that the chiefs are in, the chiefs and the traditional people are in, or Chiame Funaba. So if you know you are sitting at where the chiefs were, no, stand up from that place and find somewhere to sit. Charlie, that was the shocker. Like, I was like, I mean, see, I'm not trying to make any comparison over here. I've been to so many festivals. Like I said, I've been to Cape Coast Festival. Cape Coast Festival with the organization is the best I've seen in any festival that I've been. Cape Coast Festival, no, I don't want to put a room without any accreditation. Not to talk of going to sit at where it has been designated for the chiefs and the traditional people to sit. And now the MC had to make an announcement that the people who are sitting at where the chiefs are sitting, they should get up because the chiefs are in. And I was like, so how are these people coordinating this thing? Like, for real? This was my first time actually hearing something like this at any festival at all. Like, that was the shocker. So that was what prompted me to prepare myself for incoming shockers, because I knew that say baby I have phone bet na no nkofo we tu akotena na my MC no am announcement there one sorry phone na wakotena wa. Then there is more to come, because Charlie, the program, no, the Edina Bakatue is not a small festival. You understand? It's not a small festival. Looking at the dignitaries that made their way to the festival, looking at the Dutch embassy, you know, dignitaries from the Dutch embassy, people from Suriname, all the way from South America, they were all there. And this was what was happening. You know, most of the things were disorganized. Like looking at some of the things that I got to observe right there. Now, secondly, no, I think the coordination was really poor in terms of the whole regatta. In terms of the whole regatta, I think the organization was really poor, because what was really poor was that the regatta Nankasa is a race, you know, it's a canoe race between different types of teams. Ekowa, crab boys, or this, or that. So they race and all that. It's not only the regatta that actually takes place. Sometimes people display and all that over there. So so what made me realize that the whole thing was poorly coordinated was that there were no opening ceremony, there were no breaks, there were nothing. Like, I will explain to you how how I'm saying that there were no opening ceremony or something was that, there's sometimes, you know, it's not only the regatta that actually takes place, the canoe racing, it's not only that one. Sometimes people in canoes and all that, they dance in the canoes and they display. It's really beautiful, though. It's really beautiful. Not to denounce that side. It's really beautiful. Everything with display. Sometimes, you know, sometimes, you know, the sponsors, you know, they brand these canoes for it to be displayed, and people will be inside dancing. Especially the women will be inside dancing and doing so many things. But there were no coordination. The time that the regatta was supposed to start, you know, then this display was still ongoing. So if the program was 6 hours, the MC had to use 3 hours of the program, half of the program, complaining that in one display, no one feels like that. So it was so irritating. And one of the things that I was so happy about was that it was being said in fancy, because they say Anka Wale Kanabrofa, Anka Onyasa Papa, because the dignitaries over there understood English. And if the MC kept complaining for almost 3 hours for the people who were displaying on the lagoon to get out of the laguna. Can you imagine a whole international program like this? So the whole world is watching. Edina Bakatue. So, like I said, there were no opening ceremonies. So, what I would suggest was that the people who would display, no, they should have given a time to display as an opening ceremony. Then they will go, and when they go, and the regatta actually takes place. I know that the regatta, when it takes place, they go on a break and they arrange who will go to the final and all that. So when this arrangement is ongoing, these people who display will be given another time to come and display. It will display just one time, so I don't walk. Now, what the regatta finals, what I shadow. And after the regatta finals takes place, and then if they will continue displaying, then they display. But this time, no, when the people were displaying and the regatta time was up, no, the MC had to keep telling them that they should get out of the water, they should get out of the water, won't free swim, won't free swim, them for like 30 minutes before they were able to get out of the water. Regatta they taking place. Now, after the regatta took place and um they went on a break, they came back to display. And sometimes never na boys nimbi obinum one ankasa okita one canoe na wɔde no na wɔronom nsa na wɔde nam chale. Once dignitaries are there, the people from the Dutch embassy, people from Suriname, all the way from South America, they were watching all this. So one nsa na wɔde nam canoe no do, wɔde nam nsu no, wɔde nam lagoon no do, and displaying. And the MC was keep hammering, leave the water, leave the lagoon, leave the lagoon. And one tertiary. So this delayed the whole finals of the regatta. Now, after delaying the whole finals of the regatta, no, we finish room. So we finish room, the regatta they take place. Now let's talk about the very moment of importance, which is the Bakatue itself. Bakatue, it's all about them using a stick to pierce the lagoon. What do lagoon? Until often Bakatue to bakanankasa what the stick and what so that is the very important moment. That is the core moment. That is the whole meaning of the whole festival itself, and that is being performed by the chief priest and the traditional council itself. So that is the most sacred moment of all. And can you imagine that when it's reached this point, the most sacred moment of all, the Bakatue na what about to Bakana what bompe na what perform a sacrifice, what am abosom or the sea god and the lagoon god, and people were still using canoes to display that. That time is the most sacred time. There shouldn't be anybody on the lagoon, according to what I got to understand whilst I was there. There shouldn't be anybody on the lagoon. But whilst Chief Priest Bana, he was coming to perform this rites, and the people were on the lagoon, right? And the MC kept saying, "You leave the lagoon, leave the lagoon." Oh, leave. I was like, Charlie, they didn't see Bakatue Ronania. A whole international festival, like one of the biggest festivals in Ghana. Like, there's no argument. It's one of the biggest festivals in Ghana. The Enya shows we learned it in school, Bakatue. So me and like it was my first, so I was expecting something well coordinated, like the Cape Coast Ugwa Afashe. See, I'm not from Cape Coast though, me Cape Coast, so but I'm just using it as a yardstick, as an example for you guys to know where I'm coming from. So this was one of the things that actually happened. So the NC kept the moment of importance, so in painful dignity and the MC kept hammering, and these boys were using their canoes on the lagoon and no, and that was the moment we were all waiting for. The moment we were all waiting for, and people were still messing up. So to me, I think the coordination, the organization, and however they planned it was really poor. Like next year, they should do something better. Me, for what I will suggest, I think they should have an extra canoe on the lagoon, which will be of some of these organizers or these security personnel who will make sure that when it is time for something important to happen on the lagoon, no one can use a canoe to come and display on the lagoon or at the center stage. That's what I would suggest, that they should put more planning into this. They should have a security, like they should do something more better than what we came to see at the Edina Bakatue, because it's not a ferry. Because people from Europe, people from South America, they were all watching this, the whole Edina Bakatue. So to me, these are the points that I am actually hammering on, and I want to keep this very short. And they should do something very better next time.